races like the Irish that are what
we know. Yeah,
there's other ones too.
They're the most thirsty.
Yeah.
The Irish. Yeah, I mean they're good at. They make it look good. I mean
we call it the Irish flu.
Yeah.
Previous people were terrible.
Welcome
Every time you do
to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel. City boy. All right, you guys, we're back with Theo Von making politicians laugh. This is part 2. And I'm super excited, man. I am super excited. Now, I was hoping to see a little more of the left wing on here to balance out, but this is just the facts in America, man. And this is just 100, me keeping it a buck. Bernie Sanders is in these clips, right? But have you noticed that left wing or what do you want to say, Democratic, people from the Democratic Party aren't cool with podcasts? They're not comfortable sitting down talking for 2 hours. They're just not. Have you noticed that? That's a problem for them. Because, the other thing is people want to deny this, but it's unfortunate because your beliefs make you deny this. But RFK Jr. is a Democrat. He is. Always was. He still leans that way for the pejorative of some of his ideas, but because of, it's the same concept of how, the Democrats did Bernie dirty for Hillary. People don't want to admit that, but it's true. They did Bernie dirty for Hillary. Whether you Hillary's horrendous, and some people absolutely despise Bernie. Some people love him. Some people hate Trump. Some people love him. That's just the way it goes. But I was hoping to get more balanced of a comedic reaction because this is comedy here, just having stories with politicians. But of course, there weren't as many left-leaning pundits on here. And I believe that's because of just, I don't know. I don't know where the change is going to come, but that's the one thing I noticed in this last election, that Democrats, where's AOC? She's like a popular culture type of figure. Why isn't she on any big podcasts? These dudes typically don't have a political affiliation. Theo Von's not out there I'm a Republican, they just do podcasts. So I just think that's crazy. So I figured I'd address it before we get into this because, from the last video, this is, if you didn't know, out of all these Theo Von reactions I've been doing on the channel to his podcast, this is actually one of the very funny ones. The number one right now, though, is Theo Von making musicians laugh. Not podcasters, not comedians, not rappers. The one with Ed Sheeran and Post Malone and that joint is crazy to me. But anyways, let's get into this. Theo Von making politicians laugh. If you rock with me, Black Pegasus, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Link in the description of my other channels. Let's see what's cracking.
previous people were terrible.
Yeah.
Every time you do a thing, you'd be red flagged. They'd put up a red flag. Every statement you made, you'd be red flagged.
Yeah, it's almost like, it's like when you have a babysitter and they don't want to have any fun or whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he? His conversation with Trump is insane. I can't believe. So in the last, if you ain't seen part 1, peep it, but this dude basically started talking about the white lady, man. You know what I'm talking about? White lies. You know that cocaine, homeboy. Bro, I was like, yo, you sitting with the president talking about doing the, yeah, man. Doing the snowman. Anyways.
People get injured at sporting events.
It's almost like, it's like when you have a babysitter and they don't want to have any fun or whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of the vibe I got.
People get injured. People get injured at sporting events. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I thought that for a second. I thought you were describing a wedding in Appalachia, dude. That's what I thought for a second. So.
We've had some of those too. Yeah,
percent of the population, but it's 50% of the unsheltered homeless.
And unsheltered homeless means homeless that don't have a place to sleep at night.
Yeah, it's people who are on the sidewalks,
like freelance, yeah,
right, or they're in shelter. They're
like free range.
Yeah,
well, it's just wild.
Dude, that clip isn't getting the justice it deserves. Why am I scratching right here like I'm a meth head, bro? Like something's itchy right here. Yo, I'm not on no shit, bro. But this fool said free range homeless. Like there's a class of homeless. Like, yeah, this is the organic free range homeless person. Over here is the genetically modified homeless person that, you know, goes ahead and dives into this, that, and the other. But if you want a little upscale version of this homelessness, we're going to go with the organic, free range, gluten free. There's no soy, there's no peanut, there's no seed oils in this homeless person. But over here, stay away, okay? That's crazy, bro. That's just a crazy take.
It's people who are, you know, on the sidewalks.
Like freelance, yeah.
Right. Or they're in shelter, you know, they're
freelance to
like free range.
Yeah.
Well, it's just wild that they can do that. It's almost like I'm going to go to the grocery store, I'm going to get an apple, right? I'm going to eat it, and then after I eat it, you're going to tell me how much it costs.
You got it. That is,
and they're like, it's $400. You're like, where, is it from the Garden of Eden? You know, like,
but it's even worse. You're exactly right. But it's
now that would be a good day.
This said is the apple from the garden. I need to stopping. Okay, my bad.
Portnoy thing where he does one bite to hit a coon with a bite. You know,
Have you ever seen a raccoon eat? You never gave him any duck, did you?
Oh, I pulled up on them and they're always like this. We didn't,
right with their hands.
We didn't do it.
Totally.
The gayest one is the one in the recycling bin. He's always like, hey. You know, at least the other ones are in the trash. There's always that one that kind of wanders up from the recycling bin and he's
saying coon and being like, I didn't do it is crazy. I know. I get it because he's only talking about a raccoon. But out of context, the way he brought it in was so fire. Yeah, son.
Coon with a bite, you know?
Have you ever seen a raccoon eat? You never gave him any duck, did you?
Oh, I pulled up on them and they're always like this. We didn't,
right with their hands.
We didn't do it.
Totally.
The gayest one is the one in the recycling bin. He's always like, hey. You know, at least the other ones are in the trash. There's always that one that kind of wanders up from the recycling bin and he's wearing like a negligee of your mom's or something. You're like, what the fuck is that one been doing? You know?
Had some kid run up. He was like a 19-year-old kid run up from behind me, and it had been raining a lot that day, and he had like he'd taken a chunk of mud out of the ground and shoved it in my mouth. I mean, this is like what these sports rivalries are built around is moments like this. But we had I guess won 4 years in a row.
That's reforestation, isn't it?
That's right.
If the Democrats make rules that say I cannot win, you know, and then they complain about me running somewhere else, it's like it's like a guy who murders his parents and then throws himself on the mercy of the court because he's an orphan. Yeah, you know, they're trying to get public sympathy for a problem that they created.
I hate when I see Bananas Foster on the menu. You know, that's how it goes. But no, I see what you're saying. It's almost like they're playing two cards that are trying to do two different things, but one of them kind of concedes that there's some truth in the other one.
Like a lot of my
bro. So that was a callback to part one. If you haven't seen part one, you know, Theo's talking to RFK Jr. about working at a Mexican restaurant. And his homie's like, he's like, I hate that they have Bananas Foster on the menu because I grew up in a foster home. It's so ignorant. But the comeback here makes it sting right there. I'm like, oh, that's wild. That's wild. He was able to just bring it back while RFK was talking. And it's funny that I mentioned that too, because I just think it's crazy. Because, you know, I don't know. I feel like the Democratic Party is strange in the way they move. It just doesn't make sense. Anyways, yeah, RFK he's a Democrat, but hey man, he had to make a move. And I actually, out of all the politicians that kind of had to make some moves, I think he made the smartest move. He made the swiftest move. He saw how things was going. They was taking him off ballots. They were doing all this stuff. You know, he always got censored for being a little his views on medical procedures being different than the norm. So, you know, they're like, oh, we're going to take him out. And he's like, yo, he aligned with Trizump and them and got in. That's brilliant. Yo, so that's freaking genius. That's the crazy thing. People will watch all this stuff and get triggered. And my advice is like, yo, learn something from this. You know, you might be able to get something for your business or your entrepreneurship or your job or whatever. Like, there's things being done here that are strategic and pretty damn smart if I'm just being honest.
That's how it goes. But no, I see what you're saying. It's almost like they're playing two cards that are trying to do two different things, but one of them kind of concedes that there's some truth in the other one.
But like a lot of my friends, they look at people as like, where did you go to school? What do your parents do?
Yeah.
You know, what job do you have? What credential do you have? I've never had that, right? And so when people like talk about politics or policy, they'll be like, oh, well, this person has a PhD. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, they may be smart, but I don't care about.
PhD's only 3. It doesn't even spell anything.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't care about the letters.
Said,
Yo, play a hater's degree. Play a hater's degree.
contacted me and said through a friend and said, you know, I can get $10 million for you fast. And
dang.
I met him in my hotel, and
Was it like one of those consolidation credit card things?
No, it was just a guy who, you know, he was an attorney who had a lot of clients.
Oh, okay.
who were-
Private deal. Also sad.
Hold on. You know what's crazy? I just thought about this about RFK Jr. You know, we're in this climate where everyone says you can't say the R word. It rhymes with farted. You know, he farted. It rhymes with that, starts with the R. You know, you can't make fun of people with mental disabilities, with this, that, and the other. But the whole brainworm thing, right? I would consider that like a disability, something he couldn't control, something he didn't give like himself. I don't know how he got it. So correct me if I'm wrong. But people making fun of him for having a brainworm, I've been noticing that on Facebook a lot, like people dogpiling. And it's funny because that side who's saying like you shouldn't say the R word that rhymes with he farted. You know, they're saying all these different things, but then they dogpile people doing the exact same thing they're telling you not to do when it suits them. That's what I think is crazy. I think it's nuts. It's like when the left calls certain people Yahtzee. You know what I'm talking about. Put the N in front of it. It just doesn't, none of it makes sense to me anymore. I literally feel like I'm in a simulation. When I see, for example, I see the left calling people on the right Yahtzee, but there's this huge pejorative of people on the right who actually absolutely support Israel. So calling people on the right a Yahtzee is totally just, I'm like, what are we doing? What do words mean? What do words mean anymore? Anyways, let's go, man. Theo Vaughn. At least he can keep the fun in the political nonsense and the divisive nature of politics, and you could just rock. But yeah, man, the world's in a unique place. And maybe it's just because I'm older and I pay attention to politics. Maybe the youth, they don't even care. Maybe they're just like, oh, I don't know.
That somebody, I mean, this is ridiculous to say, probably that somebody can't, you know, you can't even do in this country anymore, you know? And that seems like a crazy thing to say. And don't say that. Don't say that. But I said it. But yeah, but don't say that anymore.
I'm going to steal that line. That's going to, after the election though, man,
no,
we got to win first.
It's unfortunate.
I can drag.
Yo, I think they're talking about the Fent. The Fent. Y'all know what I mean? That's coming over from Mexico and China. The Fent. They use it to cut the cocaine, man. The cocaine, man, is going to get you rich, man. Damn, that's a hard line, man. You can't even do, like, I remember, son, is he talking about the whole Make America Great Again slogan? Like, bro, we need to get back to the fundamentals where you could at least do, you know, without a problem, bro. Like, what are we talking about here? Yo, that's insane. Holy smokes. All right. This might be the last one. Let's go.
But yeah, but don't say that anymore.
I'm going to steal that line. That's going to, after the election though, man.
No,
we got to win first.
It's unfortunate.
I can do a little blow, I can drink, but other than that, I'm totally sober. It's a modified sobriety.
Who was your sponsor, Shepard Smith? That's what I want to know.
Okay, that's funny, but I'm not going to comment on it beyond that.
That's fine. No, and no dig to Shepard. I'm a fan of Shepard.
Yeah.
But he's just a legend in a lot of circles from a lot of friends of mine from different colleges.
How do you know all this? It's like,
dude, it's easy. You just be alive and you just pay attention.
Yo, That one, he cooked until the end. Oh, I got to catch my breath. Like, he actually cooked until the end on that one. He really cooked. Wow. Anyways, bro, Theo Von making politicians laugh for 9 minutes. We turned that into 2 reactions. Total of like 30 minutes up in this beer because he was cooking. Anyways, I love it, man. I think we watched that. I think that was on the channel Comedy Burst. They do a lot of good edits of Theo Von. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. Anyways, let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll holla at y'all.
City boy, city boy.